Welcome into another edition of The Butcher versus the Dance Instructor presented by LB's Meat Market. I'm Neil McCready, joined as I am each and every week by Greg Jones of LB's Meat Market, also by Caroline McCready, Legacy Center for the Performing, nope,
Studio.
Legacy
Um,
Studio of the Performing Arts. It was pretty close,
mhm.
pretty close. All right, it's Wednesday, October the 9th. As we record this, you're watching it on the 10th. We've got another big weekend of football. We'll get to it in a moment. Ole Miss has a big game at LSU. Caroline getting ready to head out for fall break. We'll talk about her plans a little bit as well. So had a big weekend last weekend. Ole Miss wins at South Carolina in pretty dominating fashion, 27-3. You both got that game correct. Truth is, we'll get to it in a minute. You both did really, really well last week. Caroline got to be part of a field storming in Fayetteville. Arkansas upsets Tennessee. Caroline got that one right. It was the only one Greg got wrong. So it was a big, big weekend for both of you on picks. We'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to tell you about LB's 2008 University Avenue in Oxford, right across the street from Kroger. If you're getting ready for a big weekend watching Ole Miss, the night game on Saturday night, you want to do some smoking or grilling during the day leading up to Ole Miss and LSU in Baton Rouge, stop by LB's. You'll love it. They have the freshest cuts of beef, pork, chicken. They've got the house-made sausages, the bacon-wrapped asparagus, the stuffed mushrooms, the stuffed jalapenos, so much more. It's all there at LB's. The frozen section, you can grab that on Saturday morning. Just let it thaw out for a little while. You'll be ready to roll. $2 off by doing that. You can also text your order in 662-259-2999. You get 10% off your order just by texting it in. Just doing the text thingy. 10% off.
Yeah, you can do that in your bed, like laying in bed. You can literally just boom, done.
I watched Caroline text. I could tell Caroline like 3 paragraphs that it would take me 2 hours to text, and she'll just sit there, done. I'm like, did you send it? She's like, yeah, I just sent it. I'm like, how? But she did. And I'm like, show me. And there's the whole thing. I'm like, that's just unbelievable to me. So if you've got a 21-year-old around, you can just go, hey, text my order in. I want this, 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 this. And it's going to take them 6 seconds. It's going to save you 10% off your order at LB's.
And you can do the speaker. You can say, hey, LBs, I want 4 fillets and send it. And I
It's a,
think that I usually works out too. I think that works out too.
that's what Laura does, but hers will be so full of mistakes and stuff.
My
I
mom's
hate doing
always
that.
like talking to Siri. Siri, what is time? Mom, jeez, just
It
stop
takes
talking
half
to
the
Siri.
time just to type it out than it does to talk in the thing and then have to fix all the errors.
Well, you're also younger than my mom, and is just kind of figuring out the iPhone situation. So she thinks that he knows all the answers, but Siri does not know all the answers usually.
All right, let's dive into our picks. Dive into picks. You both went 5-1 last week. Remarkable. Big, big day for both of you. Caroline, you missed the Alabama Vanderbilt game. Uh,
Yeah.
Greg had Vanderbilt and the points. Vanderbilt wins outright, but you made up for it. Hours later, you had Arkansas plus 14. Greg took the balls, laid the 14. Arkansas not only covered the line, but they won outright. As you know, you were on the field after the game
Did you have
celebrating.
comfortable shoes to run onto the field?
Yeah, I was wearing sneakers. I literally had to
Oh man,
because I was sitting in my friends' seats. So we were like, and they like have not a box, but well, kind of close to it. So I had to like climb down and a random man, sweet man, helped me. He helped all of us. He like literally picked us all up and put us down. He's like, okay, go. And then all the Tennessee fans were like, literally, it's like they knew we were right there. So they were just standing in like the on the bleachers. I'm like, move. This is like the first time we've won. Like, come on, let us down. So then I was like, excuse me. And then we had to like weave around. It took forever to get down there, but I was wearing sneakers, so it was
yeah.
doable.
Yeah, but you got
Excuse
that.
me, we have to go storm the field that we just because we just beat y'all.
Yeah.
But you guys nailed the rest of your picks. I mean, it was impressive. You both had Ole Miss covering the line. I'm looking forward here. I had it in front of me. Here we go. You both had Ole Miss You both had Texas A&M, who destroyed Missouri. You both had Auburn covering the 24.5, and they did. And you both had Florida covering the 1.5.
Even Campbell had a pretty solid pick with that UAB. That was a pretty solid pick. The Tulane pick.
Yeah. Yeah, she had solid.
You just probably need to bet against UAB for the rest of the year. I think you probably might win some money on that.
They suck. All right, so Greg went 5-1. Caroline went 5-1. Greg is now 33-27 for the season. Caroline, you're back at 500. You're 30-30. So you remain 3 games out. So I guess there's a couple ways to look at that, right? From your perspective, he had a big week and didn't gain ground. The flip side, you had a big week and didn't gain ground, but you stayed there, still very much within striking distance. I don't even know what the rules are on this. Caroline won last week, and then y'all tied this week. So I guess she defended her weekly crown. So you get to go first. I think is how that works.
Sounds good.
So we'll start with this one, Caroline. South Carolina, coming off that loss to Ole Miss. They hit the road this week. They go to Alabama, which just lost to Vanderbilt. Alabama at home, 11 a.m. on ABC. Alabama is giving South Carolina 21.5 points.
Man,
I know.
I know there's some weird numbers this week. Like these are hard games.
I've also started to second guess my knowledge of picking.
Well, everybody is. I mean,
like in this, but no, I mean, in this scenario, if I pick, let's say I'm not picking them. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
But if I pick South Carolina, how does this go again with covering the points and stuff? I feel like I'm kind of misunderstanding.
If you pick South Carolina,
you just need to lose by 3 touchdowns. You just need to lose by 3 touchdowns.
Here's the way to look at it. If you pick South Carolina, basically when the game starts, South Carolina's ahead 21.5-0. So for Alabama to win from a betting standpoint, they've got to win by 22 or more points. If South Carolina loses the game, but loses by 21.5 points or less, you'd still win because South Carolina would cover the line. For Alabama to cover, they've got to not only win, but also win by more than 22.
Okay, so I think I have been doing it right.
Okay.
Okay.
So what you want to do? South Carolina plus 21.5.
Wait, so what did you think about last year? How'd you do last year? I mean,
no, I understood last year. This year, I'm like second guessing that I am doing it right. Maybe it's because I'm losing. I don't know. I'm gonna go with South Carolina.
All right, Greg. She's gonna take the Gamecocks 21.5 points.
I'm gonna take Alabama. I imagine all the car keys got taken away first thing Sunday morning. So them players like them cars in Tuscaloosa.
I don't know that you can do that in this era. I'm telling you, can't. They'll get in the transfer portal.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, nobody knows. I'm sort of like that skit on Saturday Night Live where they asked George Washington, the question. He goes, "No one knows." All right, Missouri, Greg, off of a blowout loss in Texas A&M, they go to UMass this week to play the Minutemen, 11 o'clock, ESPN2. Nobody's watching this, but you're both going to have to bet on it. Missouri's a 27.5 point favorite.
I'm saying Missouri. I always bet against Missouri, and I think I've hit Missouri every week this year. I feel like maybe. But, other than the Buffalo loss that he scored with 5 seconds left to cover the spread, I think they're really good against bad teams. So I'm going to take Missouri.
All right, Caroline, he's going to take Missouri against UMass, who is bad, and lay the 27.5.
I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay. All right, Caroline, it's the I don't know what to call it. It's got a name, but it's at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It's Texas and Oklahoma. This game's at 2:30 on ABC.
Oh, the Red River Shootout.
Red River Shootout. That's correct. The Red River Shootout presented by Allstate this year. Texas and Oklahoma. Texas, Caroline's a 14.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to go Texas.
Oh, just laying the points. All right, Greg, she's going to take the horns, lay 14.5.
I'll take Oklahoma. It's always a tight, good game, regardless of the situation. So I'll take the Sooners.
Yeah, it's another one. I've just got no read on it at all. Last week's thrown me off from a thinking standpoint. I don't know what to think.
Who's Texas quarterback this week? Is it Ewers or
Ewers? Yeah, it's Ewers.
Okay, yeah.
But Manning's been really good. All right, on the back to the SEC. All these are SEC basically except one. Mississippi State, Greg, they hit the road this week. They go to Athens, Georgia to play the Bulldogs. This game's at 3:15 on the SEC network. Georgia, Greg, is a 33.5-point. It's a big number.
Man, that's a huge number. And I usually never take Mississippi State. So give me the other Bulldog. I'll take the better Bulldog. I'll take Georgia Bulldog.
All right, Caroline, he's going to take Georgia, and they're going to win. The question is, will they win by 34 or more?
A lot of points.
I'll pick Mississippi State.
All right. I'm leaning that direction too, and I'll tell you why. Georgia they play Texas next week. Big game. They're going to be super geeked up for that.
They're really saving some energy.
Well, it just might not be locked in, completely focused when you're thinking about the big one that's coming up. So, you get up 22, 23, 24 points in this one, you might get a little bored.
Well, don't you think Georgia's second string is better than State's first string, probably?
Yeah, but I don't know that whether are you trying to do anything at that point and just kind of run the clock,
I'm thinking like 45-10, probably.
Yeah. That's about that. And it's going to be right in there. But if you told me it was 45-13, I buy it. And then they cover. Vegas is good. All right, Caroline, Florida, coming off their win over UCF. They head to Knoxville to face the Volunteers, coming off their first loss of the season there in Fayetteville. Florida, this is a 6:00 game on ESPN. Florida, Carolina is a 15.5-point underdog. So Tennessee is giving the Gators 15.5.
I'll go with Tennessee.
All right.
Where's Florida's campus?
Gainesville.
Is that getting hit by the tornado? I mean, not the tornado, the hurricane.
It's in that range.
It's going to get wet. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're going to get wet. They'll be glad to hit the road, probably. All right, Greg.
I have friends that are coming from Ocala, Florida, which is like north of Gainesville. So
they're coming here.
They're going back to Lexington, and he said they're driving on the shoulders and people in line trying to gas. And he said four fought, like literally fights, like to the death fights almost over gas.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you wait till the last minute to evacuate, it's just, what are you doing? I mean, when they tell you 3 or 4 days out, this is the part nobody gets. If you're gonna leave, you got to go on and leave. You can't wait till the last minute to leave. It just, I hated those things. I loved living on the coast, but I do not miss having to watch the hurricanes, and I do not miss the perpetual heat.
Oh,
I miss the seafood. It was great. But
I'm gonna take the Gators.
All right.
Maybe they figured something out.
All right, Greg's taking the Gators. Caroline's going to take the Vols to bounce back. All right, Greg, we go to the Big Ten now. Big Ten game. The number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes hit the road to face 3rd ranked Oregon. This game 6:30 on NBC. Ohio State, Greg, is a 4.5-point road favorite in Eugene.
Man, I'll take the Ducks.
All right. Greg's going to take the Ducks at home and get 4.5 against Ohio State, Caroline.
I'm going to take Ohio State. I always take them because they have a good dance team.
Okay. They have a really good football team, too.
Their dance team is so good. Everyone should go watch their dances.
What makes their dance team so good?
Ohio State and Minnesota are always like, they fight for 1st and 2nd place. And there's this like popular TikTok, these 2 girls and they're twin sisters. And one of them is on Ohio State's dance team and one of them is on Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
And so it's always a big deal at college dance team nationals because their parents they will dress like half and half. But it's cool to see who wins. They're so good.
Are they friendly about it or does it get pretty ugly?
Yeah, I think they're friendly. I mean, they're literally the best 2 dance teams.
Yeah.
Should they do a YouTube channel?
They should.
Do you think they'd want to put a show on MPW Digital?
I don't know.
Is there any artists formerly known as the Pac-10 dance teams that are going to rival these Big Ten schools now, or no? And nobody, no good dance schools on the West Coast,
Hmm.
like USC or UCLA. I mean, they just have really big pom poms. I wouldn't
I
think they
think
would
they're
be
I think they're good, but like
nothing like Ohio State and Minnesota.
Tennessee has a good one. I was watching their dancers a little bit on Saturday. They had some come.
Well, listen, if you reach out to them, if they're super popular, they're getting a lot of traction. If they'd like
Yeah,
to do a podcast on MPW Digital, we could do that. We're pushing
Okay.
10,000. That might get us.
we can do a guest appearance with this show because
Yeah,
they're dancers.
they could pick games.
Like the dancers could team up on me, which I mean,
Yeah.
you already win already, so I don't know why the big deal is.
All right, Carolina. So, all right, Caroline took Ohio State. Greg took Oregon. So we get to the other 6:30 game, probably the one that most of our audience is interested in. It's Ole Miss coming off the win at South Carolina. They head to LSU. The Tigers coming off of an open date. Ole Miss is 5-1 overall, 1-1 in the SEC. LSU 4-1 overall, 1-0 in the SEC. This game's at 6:30 on ABC. And Caroline, Ole Miss is a road favorite, 2.5 points in Baton Rouge.
Um, I'll go with Ole Miss.
All right. Caroline's going to take the Rebels, lay the 2.5, Greg.
Well, I will take the Rebs too. Got her swagger back, just needs a little wake up call.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been as simple as they needed a wake up call, and it also just might have been the first sign that this is going to be a weird season in the league. That everybody's,
Oh yeah,
that there's just not a lot of difference between teams, and that Ole Miss is better than Kentucky, but they're not so much better than Kentucky that if you don't, you know what I mean? I mean, like
yeah,
Alabama's better than Vanderbilt, but turns out they might not be so much better than Vanderbilt. And while Tennessee's probably a little better than Arkansas, they might not be so much better than Arkansas. That, you know what I mean? And it might just be that year, and that might be where we're headed with this thing.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Alabama played Vanderbilt 10 times, they'd win 9 times out of 10. And were you the one asking the question when he had the Rain Man moment? Like, dude, that was like the most Rain Man moment ever. He's just.
It was just
like
those things where Lane came in for the post game, and when Lane got in there was like 4 minutes left in the game, Vanderbilt and Alabama, and we had been watching it, and the TV was back here, and so we had to turn to face Lane, and so now our back's to the TV, and you can't see the TV, and now Lane is sitting and he's facing the TV, even though the TV's up to his right, like up high. He's answering questions from us, and he's starting to look up, and I'm watching him gauging his reaction because I'm dying to know what's happening in the Vanderbilt Alabama game.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Lane, and like at one point I almost went, but I didn't want to be the jerk to everybody else. I want to go, can we just stop and find out what's happening? Because Lane's driving me crazy watching this. I can tell this is, and then I asked him a question, and something happened in that game. And he's just completely listening, and he looks at me and he goes, what'd you ask? And I'm like, this is so silly. What? And I didn't care. It was
what was funny was like, wait, Alabama, how many timeouts they have? And literally it shows how many timeouts like on the
right. And that was my thing. Like they had 3 remaining when Wayne came in the room, and we turned around and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I wanted to go, you're the one watching. A minute ago, they had 3. I mean, how many do they have now? What's happening in the damn game? Tell me.
It's almost one of those things like I'm pretty sure a wife has gone up to her husband, and he's been so tuned into this game, and she's like sitting there talking to him, and like he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm watching this game. What was that?
I was not paying attention, and then on like the jumbotron at the Arkansas game, it was like it had other scores from other games. It was like final, and it had Vanderbilt, and I was like, "What?"
I know.
And that's when I texted you, and then my friends were like, "Yeah, Vanderbilt won."
And I was they took the goalpost and threw them in the river. I mean, it was wild.
Oh yeah, because one of Maddie Stanzel, she's from Tupelo. She's a year older than me. She's a Coyote here, but she's in grad school in Nashville, and she works for the Vanderbilt football team right now, doing like nutrition, dietetic stuff. And so she literally was on the field and like working during the game. Like really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love how they played Rocky Top after y'all won.
Yeah, they did.
But y'all didn't carry they just took the goalposts down.
They took them down.
Y'all didn't
Yeah.
tear them down. Vanderbilt
No.
Vanderbilt tore them down. Y'all
A
were over.
Tennessee fan got completely beat up, and then he ended up going to jail.
Oh,
So I
nice.
guess I don't know if he started the fight or what, but he was like, his lip was totally swollen, his eye was black. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your team lost. Just leave. Let them celebrate. It is what it is. I mean,
There was a sweet lady, and I was like, she was a Tennessee fan. She's an older lady, and I was like, "Do you mind taking our picture?" I felt bad asking, and she's like, "Oh, of course not." And I was like, "Thank you." She was so nice, and she was like, "Y'all have fun." And my friends were like, "Sorry, this never happens to us." And she thought it
I'm pretty sure that old lady's like, I cannot believe I just had to take a picture of the
was.
Arkansas president.
But then maybe she was happy for us because, like, clearly we never experienced this, and I did not storm the field after the Texas game. I think I talked about that last week, and
yeah,
so
you did.
I
Yeah,
was
y'all are
excited to
magic at night. Y'all need to play more night games. Y'all are magic at
I
night.
know.
Got LSU at
I
night
know.
next week.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss and Texas are early, which sucks. But
Yeah, those are early games. All right, one more game. Vanderbilt. Speaking of, Commodores in Kentucky this week in Lexington to play the Wildcats. It's a 6:45 game on SEC Network. Vanderbilt is a 13-point underdog, Greg.
I'm actually going to this game. Well, I'm not going to the game. I'm doing the cater. I'm doing my buddy catering. We're catering the tailgate, so
Okay.
I'll be in Lexington for this game. But I don't think I'm going to grace myself with the presence in that football game. I'm gonna probably find a bar and watch the Ole Miss game. I kind of like. I mean, Vanderbilt's sneaky good, man. They can move the ball and score points, and Kentucky's Kentucky, so it should be a really good game. But I'm going to take points in this game. I'll take Vandy.
All right, Caroline, he's going to take Vanderbilt, get the 13.
I'm gonna do the same thing. They
Okay.
beat Alabama.
They did. Everybody's just kind of celebrating. This was kind of Vanderbilt week this week. They deserved it. Did a hell of a job. Clark's done a great job there. I was super happy for them. All right. Let's see. So, Greg, you're going to Lexington for the weekend. But LB's will
I
be.
am Keeneland's this week is going on in October. So
Oh, that's right. This is a big weekend in Lexington. So
Big
you'll be there, but LB's is open 662-259-2999. Text your order in, get everything set up. Enjoy the game. Should be a lot of fun all day. Caroline, you've got fall break starting on Friday. You're headed on your senior fall break trip.
Yep. Going to New York for the first time.
Oh
Excited.
wow,
Yeah.
big city.
Big.
Yeah, we'll only be there for like 2.5 days, so we're packing in stuff
So
every day.
you've never been to New York before?
Nope, never been. I'm going to see a Broadway show
Which one?
and Chicago the musical. I used to dance to a bunch of songs from Chicago, so that's like the only Broadway show that I'm like interested in going to. And then
it's pretty wild. I went to and saw Wicked in New York.
Wicked.
It was pretty cool.
We're going to a comedy show and it's being filmed for a Netflix special, so I might be on Netflix soon.
Oh, how about that? Who's the
Wow.
comedian?
I have no idea, but he's a writer for us.
Okay. All right.
I forgot his name, but he was on. I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Okay. That's all right. Well, you be
Which is
careful.
apparently a must see. You must go to a comedy show. So
Yeah.
we're going.
You'll have fun. I love New York. I hadn't been in a while, but I mean, you're going to get all the be super careful and all that stuff, and you should be. But it's a lot of fun. New York's fun. All right, we will wrap it there, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody out there. Enjoy your weekend. If you're driving to Baton Rouge, be careful. We'll put this in podcast form. You can listen. We'll have lots of other content at MPW Digital as well, and we'll be back next week. We'll get ready for another week of the Butcher versus the Dance Instructor. Ole Miss off next week. I think your Razorbacks are in Starkville next weekend. I think is that correct?
Next weekend's LSU.
Oh, LSU, that's right. LSU, because I'm coming.
And then Mississippi State.
And then Mississippi State. I can't keep up. It doesn't matter. All right. Thanks to for everybody for being with us. 662-259-2999 is that number. Call it, text it, put your order in. You'll love it. Everything at LB's is fantastic. They'll take great care of you, and you'll be back for more. So enjoy your weekend. For Greg Jones, for Caroline McCready, I'm Neil McCready. Until next time, take care.